90, I was in a program at Tri-C for budding engineers. So before I was an educator, I was groomed from the time I was in the seventh grade to become an engineer. And so I was in this program, Keys to Academic Excellence in Engineering or something to that nature. And in seventh grade, I took a biochemistry course. Well, this one particular day, the instructor, Miss Gates, she was trusting us to do a lab, and it was a higher level lab. There was acid involved, and she let us know the danger of the acid and what would happen if we did not execute this experiment with the fidelity that was necessary. True to form, seventh grade, I did not execute the lab as she said. I didn't think it was a big deal, and I spilled acid all over my fingers. And the beautiful thing is that this acid didn't burn, it didn't have an odor, but I did not, so I felt like, okay, what's the big deal? And I went to the station to wash my hands. My teacher joined me, and she washed my hands furiously because she wanted to make sure as much acid that she could get off that she did. And when the acid was all washed off, and she washed my hands underwater vigorously for about 5 to 7 minutes, I looked at my fingertips and saw that there was no burn. I did not feel any pain, but every single one of my fingers was stained. And it took about almost a year for my fingertips to return to normal. So for a year, I walked through with yellow, dried, cracked, smoker-looking fingertips that were burned from the nitric acid. That was lab burn. The next story, crayon crash. We were sitting at home one day, and my daughter had a notebook, and she still has this notebook, and she loves to draw. So she was drawing some little stick figures, and she had crayons, and she had completed a drawing. And so I was looking at the drawing, and the stick figures, but I didn't recognize the character, so I thought I would ask the question, "Oh, baby, who is that?" She said, "Oh, that's me." And then there was another stick figure. I said, "And who is that?" She said, "That's my brother." And she was about 3 years old at the time. And I said, "Well, who's that?" She said, "That's Daddy." And so those were all the characters on the page. So I said, "Hey, where's Mommy?" She said, "Mommy's at work." Mommy's always at work. And when I tell you the heartbreak that I felt in that moment, the crushing defeat that just really broke my heart, I can't imagine as a parent, there may be some of you who are struggling the same way with that feeling of, I've made some wrong decisions here. I have not prioritized correctly. Something about what's in my heart for my children is not coming forth. And the beautiful thing is that she didn't mean any malice. She didn't mean any harm. She was speaking her truth to me, and the Holy Spirit allowed her to speak to me in a way that I could hear it and make some changes. Number three, dangerous dialogue. I had a dangerous dialogue when I was 16 years old. And I was in a place where I had come to extreme depression. I was desperate for something to move and shake and change. And in that time, I was on the floor on the shag carpet in my grandmother's living room. There was no service, there was no organ, there was no minister, there was no playing, there was no praying. I went to the Lord and I said to him, "If you are real," and I mean, I was desperate. "If you are real, you gotta do something. You gotta say something. You gotta let me know." And friends, what I want to share with you is in that moment of extreme desperation, I was on the verge of suicide. I had a plan. I had a method. And I was one step away from saying, "I cannot do this anymore." And my last resort was to ask God, "If you are real, speak to me." It's from that desperate place, those 3 moments, the one where my hands were marred at my own disobedience, when my heart was broken by the truth spoken by my child, and in that desperate moment, when I reached out to the Lord and said, "Hey, if you are real, if you are real," and I know these are dangerous words, "if you are real, God, then you got to show me. You have to show yourself with me. You got to do something." And it's from that desperate place that I want to share with you the word that God has laid on my heart for today. Have you ever been in a moment where you just don't know what to do? Listen, our stars have meaning. They make sense in Him. So Ephesians 1:4 says, "For He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. In love, He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ in accordance with His pleasure and will, to the praise of His glorious grace, which He has freely given us in the one He loves." And I'm just going to pause there for a moment and say that those words, that He chose us before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless. And friends, I don't know about you, but there have been some situations in my life where I am to blame, where it is my fault. So in the acid situation, I told you my fingers were stained, and I thought that because the teacher washed my hand vigorously, that when I went home, I washed again, and when I took a bath, that the yellow would return to the normal color of my hand. But what I found was that the stain, just like many pains and many stains that we have on our lives, it went layers and layers and layers. And so my skin began to become hard and cracked. And even when I would peel it off, to my chagrin, the next level was still stained. The Word of God tells us that He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. And what does that mean? The word blameless gives me new hope that yes, it was my fault. I did not follow my teacher's instructions. And yes, my hands were stained. And yes, the repercussions lasted for levels and levels and levels of my epidermis. However, because the Lord called us and through His sight, the way He sees me, He allowed me to experience redemption even in that spring, even in my own mistake, even with what was my own fault. He allowed me to experience His redemption. Do you need that redemption today? Have you made a mistake or made some choices that have permeated it year after year after year? Maybe it's in your finances, maybe it's in your relationship, maybe it's just in your walk with Christ, where you start off with the direction and you do things right, and then all of a sudden you fall off, and that fall off has consequence after consequence after consequence. Well, I'm here to tell you that no matter where you are, those scars, even if they are self-inflicted, they make sense in Him because He has called you to be holy and blameless in His sight. The part that kills me is that He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ. And then there's two words in that verse that says, in accordance with His pleasure and His will. Friends, this got me this week. So I've been studying this verse for about 6 months, and this week the Lord showed me that it happens, that we choose, or there are things that happen that are inflicted upon us. There is hurt that happens that breaks the Lord's heart, and He grieves with us when we grieve. He grieves when we choose sin over Him. He grieves when someone hurts us, when His heart breaks, when our heart breaks. But it says that in accordance with His pleasure, and those are the things that we do to make Him smile, that He marvels at our faith when we believe on Him, when we trust Him. In accordance with His pleasure, He sees us, and then in accordance with the counsel of His will. So those are the things that we've done wrong, but He says, in me, I am going to turn that around and use it for her good. Those are the things that happen to us that He would never choose for us, but we chose it for ourselves, or it's inflicted on us. And He says, even that, my daughter, even that, my son, I will use